Welcome to everyone for joining us today on our Women in Tech webinar, which is focused on software development. My name is Lansdown. I am the Senior Account Manager at Just IT. Alongside me from Just IT today, we have my colleague Nina, who's a Senior Candidate Manager, and also Leah, who is our Marketing Executive. They will be monitoring the chat and they will be answering questions where they can. We also have Jeanette Wood, who is our Quality and Curriculum Lead for Software Development and Data Analyst and Functional Skills. So she will be talking about the apprenticeship program and also our bootcamp program. So the purpose of today, just for those who are not familiar with Just IT, we are a company who are very passionate about delivering training and development. And we do that through commercial training and recruitment, and apprenticeships and boot camps. The week is our Women in Tech Week. And given that women are very much underrepresented in the technology sector, we are hosting daily webinars. So we've already had 2, this is our 3rd one, and then we've got another 2 coming up. And it's the aim of it is to inspire women to consider a career in the tech industry and to be informed on what a career in tech looks like. And to get, which I'm 100% sure that they will get some great advice and information on the woman we've got on our panel today on what a career looks like in tech and how to start that journey. So some of you on the call would be school leavers looking at your first career steps, some of you potential career changes. And we aim to make this webinar an interest to all of you. So we're going to be speaking to our panelists. And our panelists today, we've got Madiya, who is currently a software engineer lead with Capgemini. We've also got Salma Sabet, who is a global lead of consumer goods, and Shalini, who's a lead Agile coach. So all them ladies are going to be speaking about their journey so far and their careers to date. We will then be joined by, we've got 3 ladies who've either doing an apprenticeship, which was Chantel. And also we've got Brittany and Erica who have done apprenticeship programs. So just want to now introduce and speak to the panelists. So I'm going to start with Madiya. So Madiya, as I said, is a software engineer lead with Capgemini. Madiya has also been nominated and a finalist in many awards within the Women in Tech industry, which is a great achievement, showing that not only is she recognised within the job she does, but she gets external recognition. So firstly, well done to Madiya for that. So Madiya, if you could give us an overview of your journey into software engineering and a synopsis of your career to date, please.
Yeah, thank you, Liam. So I am a retired. I started my journey many years ago, or after doing my master's in computer sciences, and I joined a tech company as a graduate. Just give you a little bit of a background. I sort of kind of fell into the tech field. So when I was 16, I did not know what I wanted to do. And I did not know what I wanted to pick a career, what I wanted to do as a career. So my father helped me a lot figuring it out. He convinced me to do a 3 months computer diploma just to see if this is something that I want to do and this is something that I want to take ahead. So at the end of 3 months, I was sure that I want to pursue this career in IT. Why? Because I realized that I enjoy solving problems. I enjoy writing code, and that makes sense to me. The reasoning, the refactoring, and the most important thing that that gives me the sense of achievement was designing small component and linking them to make something big that really makes a difference in somebody's life. The feeling of even achieving small things was very fulfilling for me. I knew I was good at it, but my desire to be the best version of myself was fueling it. So this was very much how I continue my life and career now. I constantly demonstrate myself and my family and the colleagues that, that I need to work, I need to focus and experience each situation. I learned that we have to trust the process for getting the results, and I feel proud of achieving continuously to make a happy, driven individual. So I think if you're starting your career in tech, the motivation has to be there. You have to be sure that what you're getting into, do you enjoy it? Is it something that how your mind works or not? When I think in 2007, 6 or 7, I had my first boy, for my first child, and 14 months later I have my second one. And at that time I decided that I had no help here. It was just me and my husband, and I decided that my family, my kids need me, and it was too much for me to continue. And I wanted a little break, but it was never a good time to come back. So it ended up as a 10-year break before I started to come back. Long story short, the 10-year gap was so huge that it hits my confidence a lot. I don't know where the gaps was. I'd done all the wrong things by getting into the interviews, seeing how I perform. And obviously I was not selected because there were huge gaps and I didn't know where they were. And IT industry has changed a lot. That hits my confidence as well. So one day I sit down and have some alone time, and I was thinking what I really wanted to do. And I decided I wanted to get back into tech, but I need to choose the right path. So I start looking for some help where I can just enroll myself, and I enrolled myself into a boot camp. 8 months intense training. After 8 months, I was confident that most of my gaps are filled. I had the knowledge of where my other gaps are and how to work along. And I was more confident in my interviews. I had a lot of practice, and I had a lot of good advice in that boot camp as well. And I think 3 years ago, I ended up in Capgemini as a software engineer.
Amazing. Thank you. So just a couple of questions for you, Madiya. So you mentioned that you were a mentor for Code Your Future.
Yeah.
Just wondered if you can give us a little understanding of that and how people, can get involved and how it would benefit them in their career.
So this was the bootcamp that I enrolled myself into when I started to get back into tech. And the bootcamps, it was more than what I expected. I was expecting to just get the technical skills and get out just like a class. But the boot camps, I think they really, really help. It's a fast track with not just only technical skills. It gives you the soft skills. It gives you a feel of an everyday, I think, Scrum team, how they work, how you work in a tech industry. So when I finished, I had this amazing energy and I wanted to give back. And it's a very good way of updating yourself as well. So I was mentoring the new cohort with their personal development skills and with their technical skills. I'm working with the lead for that module that they were working on as a kind of a support for them. So I go in, help them understand the concepts, design the new coursework for them. I think the feeling was, it was a very fulfilling feeling. It was helping me and helping the trainees of the bootcamp as well. So I think it's a very good experience. And if somebody has time, they should also do some mentoring, whatever is available there.
Okay, amazing. So what would the sort of typical or an overview of the job duties of a software engineer be?
So it just keeps changing. So since I joined, I always joined as a junior developer. There was a lot of support around me. The thing is that we work in a team, and then generally we have some, I'll give you a granular level, is like a usual day is that we have a set of kind of tasks that we have to do, story points for the sprint that we are doing. So usually the sprints are 2 weeks. Leah, stop me if I'm going into too much technical details. We pick up the task and we start working on it. If we need help, we can ask our colleagues or senior developers. There is a lot of communication going on. So development is not like you're sitting alone and just writing code in a corner. No, it's a teamwork. If you're sitting alone, writing code in a corner, you will not be kind of an active member of a team. It's a lot of teamwork. So every day you will be communicating, you will be telling your team what you are up to, what you're doing. Is there anything that you need help with? Or is there, is there somebody who is stuck and you know the component and you want to help? So it's a lot of teamwork in a day-to-day life of a software developer. So you will not be alone. If you need help, there will be help available. There will be a lot of learning as well when you work with different team members or different roles within the Scrum team. Like you will get to know your user experience person who is designing it, your user research person, your interaction designer. So all of these people, they interact in a development team to produce a software at the end.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that, Madiya. It's really great to hear. And we've just had a comment in the chat that it's great to hear from women who've got into the industry and how they did it. So thank you so much for that. So next, I would like to speak with Salma. So Salma is currently a global lead of consumer goods and has a wealth of knowledge in the tech industry. And again, she has been a finalist and a winner in many awards. Again, just showing that it's not just about progressing within the company or the industry, but that there is recognition out there for what women are doing in tech. So Salma, again, if we could just have initially an overview of your journey so far in the tech industry.
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, good afternoon, and to everyone having me here today. It's a real pleasure to actually be among friends and share some of my story. So I also started my journey similar to Madiya with a degree in computer science, and my first job was actually a developer. And whilst I found the coding side of what I was doing and the coding side of technology really exciting, what I loved the most was actually the business side of the thing. So listening to the internal stakeholders, listening to business users, and really understanding the business challenges. And what was really fascinating for me was to really be able to see the impact of what my team was developing on the positive impact on the day-to-day life of our customers, and ultimately evaluating how successful we were in terms of streamlining the business processes and making the working lives better. So from there, I became a business analyst. I was pretty much in charge of communicating between the business and the IT team, and that was my stepping stone into consultancy. So I did a few years in consultancy in different areas, really just going in different projects, different parts of the world. It actually allowed me to travel around the world, travel around the country, work in different verticals. and really worked with customers who were going through a digital transformation journey, which was all about really looking at where their business was, where they wanted the business to be in 10, 15, 20 years time, and how can they use technology to get them ahead of the game in terms of their competitors. So yeah, I did quite a few years in consultancy, and then I got into pre-sales, and currently I run the go-to-market for the consumer goods, which is our most strategic vertical within my company, and yeah, get the pleasure to work with some of the amazing consumer goods brands in the world: Coca-Cola, Unilever, PepsiCo, P&G, lots of beauty customers who always give me freebies, which is an amazing experience.
Amazing. Both yourself and Madiha mentioned the degree in computer science. Do you think a degree is essential for starting a career in tech? Is that the main route to go down?
Interestingly, I don't think so. I mean, I think about my very first job as a developer. I got it as a part of a graduate scheme in BSkyB, and I remember turning up to the assessment day. There were about 60, 70 of us, and 10 of us got selected in the end. And in that group of 10, which I'm still very close friends with, only 2 of us had done degrees in computer science. Okay. The rest done degrees in maths, in drama, in grammar, and really the core of the assessment for us in the first role is just to understand who has got analytical skills and analytical ability, and a lot was also about personality. Are you willing to learn? Are you willing to be a part of the team? For me, I chose a degree in computer science because it was a bit of a personal connection for me. I grew up in a family with 2 incredibly intelligent and successful brothers, and a wonderful sister who has a range of hearing, speech, and learning disabilities. And for those on the call who are familiar with neurodiverse challenges, they would understand that sort of the challenges she faced and the kind of pressure she experienced to live up to the same bar that was set, not just by my brothers, but by the whole society and family. She wasn't able to finish high school. She struggled to keep internship and short-term jobs. And as she was growing older and older, she was becoming more isolated. And I think it was about, if I get the timeline correctly, about 20 years ago, when technology became a more prevalent part of our lives, it really transformed her life. She got a laptop. She started engaging with games, with programs. She started communicating with the external world, and started learning at a pace that she was never able to do before. And for me, watching that transformation for her was actually what was the motivation for me to want to actually study in technology and work in technology. And again, if you think about what the majority of us and what all the panelists do today, is we help our businesses and we help our customers to essentially use technology to make the business, the people's lives better, and what we do in our day-to-day life as well is very much relying on technology. So that aspect I really, really enjoyed. And to answer your question, whichever direction I came in, I think I would have still ended up in here.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So now we'd like to go over to Shalini. So Shalini is currently the lead Agile coach at Hargreaves Lansdown. Lead Agile coach within, obviously we've already mentioned that women are underrepresented anywhere in tech, but within this particular area and this particular job title, there is very few women who have this job. So Shalini's not only done really well within her career, and again is a finalist for many awards, but she's also holding a job that is very rarely held by a woman. So I'd like to introduce Shalini.
Thank you, Leanne.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us. So again, if you, I mean, you've had an amazing career throughout and still are. Again, if you could just talk us through your journey, where you started from, and then how you got to become where you are today.
Sure. First of all, a big thank you to Leon and the entire Just IT team for welcoming me and to speak to all these amazing tech superstars of the future. So thank you everyone for joining the session. So I'm Shalini and I'm working as a lead Agile coach for Hargreaves Lansdown. So my career journey is very interesting. I would say it's a mixture of very challenging, difficult, positive, and failure experiences, which I'm keen to share with you all. I was born and brought up in India. And from a very young age, I had a great passion towards technology. With that passion in mind, I pursued my education to fulfill my dreams. I completed a Bachelor of Engineering in Information Technology from India, and I landed UK in December 2006. After settling in for a couple of months, I started to give job interviews. And my perception back then was only technical skills matters to get a job in the IT industry. And you know what? I was terribly wrong. I attended 5 to 10 interviews and I failed in all of them. So then I kind of thought back, okay, what is wrong? How can I improve? What can I really do to prove my skill set to the industry and to the IT world out there? I had two choices back then, right? Either to kind of be demotivated and disappointed and to cry and stay in one corner, or to motivate myself and work hard towards achieving my dreams. And I did that. And I got my first job as a graduate software developer for a company called Civica based in Leeds. Whilst working as a developer, I got great opportunity to kind of work with software testers and to pair up with them and to break my own code, which I've written. And that was a great experience because breaking the code, which I've written, was kind of very interesting. So whilst kind of working as software test with the testing people, I got an opportunity to work as a software tester, which was very interesting. And after that, I worked in various organizations in various different roles, like a software tester, test lead, test manager. And during that journey, I got opportunity to work with a lot of people, leadership people. And that really excited my journey towards the working in the leadership team. And after that, I worked in other different organizations in leadership roles like a Scrum Master, Delivery Manager, Agile Coach. And today I'm working as a lead Agile Coach for Hargreaves Lansdown. So my journey is like I have moved from organization to organization and from one role to another. A lot of roles is very different from each other. And you know what? I've taken a lot of risks in the journey. Risk of like different roles, learning new tools, technologies, meeting different people, working with them, people from different background, culture, mindsets. Definitely, it was not an easy journey, but I would say that it was a very wonderful, positive experiences throughout my life. So on a nutshell, that is my career journey, Leon.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Just something I want to pick up on, Shalini, and it's something because a lot of our attendees are joining, they're either at the very beginning of the career, they're completely doing a career change. And something that you said, and I've seen a couple of the women nod when you said it was, I thought it was only about technical skills, but I was wrong. So do you think there's particular that you've established over there, your soft skills you've got, your personality traits that you've got, that have actually stood you in really good stead within software engineering?
Absolutely. I think there is, I want to touch upon, there is two facts, like there is IQ, definitely, but there is also something called as EQ, which is your emotional intelligence. If I am successful today, to be honest, I would say that it's my EQ which helped me a lot in my journey. EQ is nothing but emotional intelligence, the intelligence to understand people, to understand your own emotions, and also to understand other people's emotion, and to be able to be empathetic with them. And that skill set in me truly helped in moving from one role to another, to work with different people. So soft skills, I would say, my friends, that is so very important. Technical skills is only like, I would say, like 40 to 50%. Rest of the 50% is who you are, your personality, your ability to work with people, how well you can deal with people, and to communicate with them. Communication is very important. So these soft skills definitely will help you. And my advice or tip would be to all the women out there, do not worry about the failure. You will fail, accept failure gracefully. And I had failed many times, but today I have won many awards and recognitions. That is purely because my mindset to embrace failure. So yes, for all the women out there who are new to this industry, who are willing to come to this industry, do not worry about the failure, work hard, and be confident, and I'm sure you will reach great heights.
Amazing. Oh, thank you so much. And I'm just going to go over back to our other panelists and actually ask the same question, in the sense of forgetting the technical skills. What do you think is needed to get into the industry, but also to that's going to make you successful, that is more focusing on the softer skills than the technical skills? Madiya, what do you think is needed? I could see you.
Yeah, I think the soft skills.
I could see that you were agreeing with a lot of what Shalini said.
I've experienced that. I think in the beginning, when I got the technical skills and started failing the interviews, I had no idea what I was doing wrong. And when I started training about all these soft skills, working in a team, communication skills, and the EQ that she's talking about, it really, really helps you build up on who you are, because it's all a teamwork. And with the team means that you're working with a diverse team. Everybody comes from a different background. Everybody has different ideas. So I think it is very, very important to work on your soft skills. And another way of putting it, while like we have an audience who are just trying to make a start to their career, is like, make sure you understand what are your strengths. What are your strengths, and use those strengths as your strengths as your kind of like a motivation to what you want to achieve. So it kind of lands into an area of personal branding. So make sure that whoever you are, you present yourself as a brand. Okay, so for example, if I take Shalini, we know that Shalini is really good at dealing with people. She's really good at using her emotional skills. She's really good at combining those skills to achieve something. So I think at this age, when you're starting your career, it is really important to be strong, to recognize your achievement, to showcase even the smallest of your achievements. That will bring out the confidence in you. And I have network, look for inspiration stories, look for inspirational women and hear their journeys, and then you will build up on it. So I think these skills are really, really important, not just technical skills. And she's right. It is just 40% technical skills and 60% of your soft skills that matters.
And again, if any of you have particular network, you mentioned about networking there, which I think is really essential. If you've got any network groups which you think would be really valid and would really help somebody starting out, please do get them over to us, and then we'll forward them on to make sure that they're connecting as well.
Yeah,
that would be amazing. So Salma, I don't know whether you heard my question, because I know you're having issues with your PC. So I was just asking, Shalini mentioned it not all about being technical, and I think that's a lot of women's fear, is that they think, oh, it's really technical. Am I able to do that? But Shalini and Madiya mentioned about how much soft skills come into play and how much your strengths and your natural traits come into play. Is there anything that you think that, part of your personality that has always been there, that has actually strengthened your career?
Yes, so let me talk a little bit about what I do now and the 3 areas that I would really advise to this audience in terms of think beyond the tech skills. So my current job is all about strategizing. It's strategizing that what we're going to sell, how our product is going to look like, who we're going to sell, how are we going to engage with our customers, what our messages is going to be, how are we going to market in terms of what's our marketing. So I kind of sit between, or sit above product, sales, marketing, and what I'm doing. Honestly, I could have, that's what I said earlier, I could have done it having come from any background. I'm so incredibly lucky that I landed in what I call in my zone of genius. And my zone of genius is all about, I love being out of the box. I love being creative. I love being innovative. I love working with people. There's nothing that excites me more than actually going out, building an empathetic relationship with my customers, which is all about my personal skills and what drives me as an individual, and then help them with the business challenges through a toolkit that I have in my technology bag. So I think for my job right now is a prime example of, obviously having the technology background helps me. It gives me that solid understanding of, okay, when we provide a solution to a customer, what does it need? When we go to the market with a new marketing value proposition, how do we actually make it land in the world of IT? But the rest is all about being creative, is all about being empathetic, is all about really understanding how do human beings actually engage with us, what sort of messaging do they want to hear from us, what sort of support they want to get from us. So it's more about that side. And in terms of what you said, what would be my support? It's very, so I will really just have three advice, which is 3 pieces of advice, which is similar to what Madiya said. First of all, ask for support, whether you're at the beginning of your career or later on. I think women on this call, they all agree with me that as women rise to the top, their peers, especially in tech, often tend to be more men. And the men often have to seem to have a more solid supportive structure at home, one that really allows them to allocate more time and be more focused at work. So for us to be able to bring the same dedication, it's really important that we have a mentor, we have a support network, both professionally and personally. Is really continuing, is key in continuing our success. Getting our way in, and I'm just going to talk about my own experience. I haven't applied for a single job in the past 10 years. I don't apply for jobs. There are so many different ways of actually finding an opportunity. The way I find it is actually LinkedIn and all the networks. If a company catches your interest, if one of the ladies on this call catch your interest, or Journey catch your interest, reach out to them. People love to help. And more importantly, a lot of companies are now desperately trying to get women into their teams, but they don't have enough women in their recruitment pipeline. So reach out to people, ask for your help, share your interest, and actually see how people can help. And the third area is, if you think about it, our upbringing, a lot of times culturally, we tend to educate boys to be brave and girls to be perfect. And that absolutely escalates of our career. So I see a lot of women, and I myself included, they generally wait for that right moment when they feel they're perfect enough to apply for a new position, where they delayed asking for a promotion when they feel confident enough to speak up. And leading a team that I only have one, unfortunately, just one lady in my team, and the rest are men. I can tell you, the guys in my team ask for a pay rise and a promotion every single month, if not ever. And that just amazes me. And even from a recruitment process, I see women who come into the interviews that often tend to downplay their achievements, their personalities, and guys always just go for the bigger and more exciting opportunities, even if they don't ready. So my advice would be, take the plunge. We will never be perfect enough. Something takes your interest, find a mentor, find a support, reach out to whoever you can, and just go for it.
Amazing. Great advice. Thank you so much. So there's some questions coming through, and we are slightly behind on time, so we're just going to move on now. But again, as I said before, if we don't have any, if we don't get all questions answered, we will get these answered after and sent over to you. So to all the ladies who've just spoken, thank you so much. It was really inspiring to hear from you. So now we're going to hear from Jeanette Wood, who's our quality and curriculum manager for software dev, data analyst and functional skills. So she oversees our software dev bootcamp, which is a 12-week training. Pretty similar to what Madiya mentioned that she started her journey on, and also oversees the quality and curriculum for the software dev level 4 apprenticeship. So Jeanette, we would just like to hear from you now a bit about your background and what the program looks like for people who want to go through the get into software dev through an apprenticeship program.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for everyone being here today. It's lovely to see so many ladies present. It is something that we do need in industry. Okay, a little bit of background for myself. I didn't actually start in this industry. Many years ago, I was a florist. And as time goes on, things change, your life changes, and I found myself out of a job. I saw this job advert for an NVQ assessor, and I thought, I can do that. I had no idea what it is. I could do that. I went to the interview. I said, I can do that. They said, do you know what an NVQ is? I said, no, but whatever it is, I can do it. So they gave me the job for retail and business administration, because I don't my own business. And then a year into it, they said, oh, this new thing, IT's come out. I can do that. I said, I can do that. I'm going back to before 2000. I can do that. So I learned how to do that, and that's how I got into networking. So I took my MCSE in networking. I ended up in a college teaching computing, all different types of computing. Became a curriculum manager for computing for 3 years, and I thought, oh, this is a young person's job. I need to change. I went back to my first love, which was apprenticeships, and few apprenticeship programs, and I ended up at Just IT, which I love. And I was looking after the network infrastructure, and they said to me, you know, software, can you look after this? Yeah, I can do that. That seems to be me. So this is how I ended up 20 years down the line, developing software development programs like the bootcamp and the apprenticeship program, and I look after those. I'm a qualified teacher. I'm a qualified IQA, so I look after the quality curriculum part of it as well. So bootcamp. Last year, we were asked, the government initiative brought out these boot camps to help the industry, to promote people who, through the pandemic, no fault of their own, found themselves out of a job or wanted to change career or suddenly didn't want to do what they were doing. So the boot camp is a wonderful idea. Now we won the tender for London. The London environment, so an hour's journey around the London is what we can take. The bootcamp is a 12-week intense program where in the morning or in the afternoon you have workshops and you're taught a little bit on there. It says system development life cycle, which is how software developers work. As our panelists were saying, it's teamwork. You work as part of a team through the systems development lifecycle and the methodologies. If I said Agile, the ladies would be going, yes, we know what that is. Yes, it's all about working together as part of a team. The first thing that we then teach you is HTML, CSS and JavaScript. You would be developing your own portfolio, online portfolio. You go to domain and you would create a web page, and in that web page, pages, you would showcase all of the projects that you'd be working on and developing to showcase to an employer. We then work on database, and you'll be learning how to do database, and you'll be learning how to search database, create database, bring up lists and things like that, which do connect to your web page. And then we teach you some coding, and Python is the most commonly acceptable first language, so we teach that, and that we would teach you how to use either to append to your database to make it more sexy, or to create we've known little games like ping pong, pong, calculator, all sorts of little games to show your ability to work with coding, learn with coding. And that all happens in 12 weeks. My trainers are fantastic. They are so motivated. They love it. They're like little boys. They love it. They're really good. And they develop the learner through. We've had a lot of success with that, and through our wave 2, and we're tendering for wave 3 coming in from September onwards for the next tranche, another 200 places that we're tendering for. It's absolutely fantastic. I developed the bootcamp in line with the level 3 apprenticeship so that the people on the bootcamp, if you're interested, will learn the skills that you need in order to go onto the level 4 apprenticeship program, or will allow you to have the skill sets for employers. The one thing about the government tender that we have is every learner must have an interview with an employer. There isn't a guarantee of a job, although employers are taking our learners because they're so good. Everyone will get at least one interview with an employer to showcase your skill sets for a real job. I mean, these are talking real jobs, and the real jobs can lead into the developer. Now, an apprenticeship program, I've had someone say to me, what's the difference between a job and an apprenticeship program? Well, a job's a job. An apprenticeship is a job with a qualification, and we support you through that qualification. The new learner journey for software is 15 months your practical period, and then up to 6 months into EPA. Shouldn't take that long. It's about 3 months, but you have that time period. We teach you the object orientating concepts using C#. We dive into a little bit more with your methodologies. Again, you've got introduction to web and intermediate to web. So those coming from the bootcamp, we stretch and challenge what you've already learned, moving into that. Database development, a bit more of that database with database programming. And the one thing that we do is server-side coding. So in the first 15 months, you will learn everything you need to know to be a full stack developer. And then what you can do is think, well, actually, I like web development, or no, I like the coding side. I like problem solving. And it's that area that you can then take off into your profession. The employers agree all of this. They know about apprenticeships. They have had previous apprenticeships and they know everything. Every month you'll get a coach visit. You get support from me, the IQA, our STM, Scott, and we support you through your learner journey. And it's totally, it's wonderful. I did say this earlier, it does actually say 91% there, but it's actually 100% success rate, which I'm really pleased about, and so is the company. We're really pleased with that. It's a wonderful way to get into the journey. The bootcamp gives you the springboard either into a job or onto the software developer apprenticeship company, which our boot campers have had the opportunity to do that. The brilliant thing about the bootcamp is that there is no exclusivity except for if you're 19 plus. If you just want to change and you think, well, I've got a degree in something, it doesn't matter. The only thing is that you are 19 plus and have the right to live and work in Britain. And saying that, if you want to go on to the level 4 software developer, sometimes we don't take graduates because of ESFA funding, but because you've come through the bootcamp, there is more leniency in order to see you through that. So it's a lovely footleg into the software developer world via the bootcamp and then into our apprenticeship program. That is great. We've had learners that have gone into jobs. Now, we normally say a typical entry job is £21,000 to £24,000. We've had learners that employers said, no, you're starting at 30. It's like amazing, amazing stuff. So it's been very good, and it's a really good way to get into the industry.
Amazing, Jeanette, thank you so much for that. And we have put some links in the chat about our boot camps. And also, if you want to apply for an apprenticeship, you can register with gov.uk, because all apprenticeships are advertised there. So regardless of what type of apprenticeship, what you're looking for, there will be on there. And again, if you need any further advice or help from ourselves, just drop one of us an email and we'll be happy to help with more advice. So a question that I got asked was, is the degree the only route in? So now we'd like to speak to 3 ladies who've actually have done degree, but they've also done apprenticeships as well. So I want to start with Erica. So Erica, you started with Capgemini as a software engineer, and you've developed your career as a project management. So again, if you could just give us an overview of your career and your journey so far.
Yes, thanks, Leanne, and great to speak to you all today. So I've been with Capgemini 9 years this year, and back when I finished my A-levels, I was looking into university options, but also looking at apprenticeships. I'd applied to university and I was accepted based on my grades, but I just wasn't 100% sure that that was the right route for me. I was interested in a course called Business Information Systems, and actually I found out that Capgemini offered a very, very similar degree. So I thought, if I can learn and earn at the same time without being in debt, then why not? Actually, it wasn't a niche skill or a degree that I was going for. I didn't want to be a doctor. I was just very open to the world of business and learning more. All I knew at that time was that I enjoyed my IT A-levels and wanted to learn more. I didn't have any idea of the roles that existed. I didn't know software engineer. I didn't know PMO, but I thought, okay, a business degree at a company that's very well known, let's do this. So I applied, I got the job, and I joined Capgemini. It was great because you're joining with people that have got very similar interests. So you have an intake of people, and I'm still in contact with that intake of people now. We're friends, and you go through that journey together. So those 5 years on the degree apprenticeship scheme, that you build your network. Actually, more and more apprentices come through Capgemini, and it really expanded, and it was a really great thing. After about 1 year of doing a software engineer role, which was the coding that everybody has mentioned up until now and some web development, I found it interesting, but I also found it challenging. So I was put in contact with someone from Capgemini about a PMO role, which stands for Project Management Office. And that was more business side, more finance related. And actually, did I want to explore that further? I said, yes, please. I'll do that. So I haven't really looked back since. But since doing the PMO role, I've also been given the opportunity to do some testing roles, to do some Office 365 support roles. So within the company that I work for, so many opportunities have come from doing the digital and technology solutions degree, and doing the technical degree has enabled me to have the foundations to understand the technology, but not be so close to the detail and actually be closer to the business side of things. So it really is a great opportunity to open different doors and networks and understand the roles that are out there and what you will enjoy.
Amazing. Thank you so much. That's, again, a really interesting story. And we're touching base on the, for some people going down the university route is exactly what they want to do, that what best suits them. What advice would you give if there was a young woman asking you for advice and getting into the tech industry? What would you advise her would be the best path?
Just be very open-minded. If 10 years ago somebody said you'll be working in tech, I probably wouldn't have said yes. I don't really know what that means, but actually be open-minded and be willing to learn. As we've mentioned through different speakers on this call, it isn't just a technical role. It's all very much about business, about building relationships with people, understanding them, being able to communicate. So my top tip would be very open-minded, always willing to try and learn new experiences, and don't be put off because you think it's solely one thing. Actually understand more, go have more conversations with people. There's plenty of networks out there and information to go into it with a positive and proactive can-do attitude. And yeah, be open-minded, and I'm sure you'll be successful in whichever path that you take.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So next we're going to speak to Chantel, who is on an apprenticeship. So Chantel actually started on one of our bootcamp courses and then progressed into being an apprentice. So Chantel, thank you for joining us. Can you give us again just your journey? I know we've mentioned about the bootcamp and then the apprenticeship, so do please tell us about that. But also you come from a very different background before you got into tech. So if you can tell us your journey and why you decided to change over.
Okay, hi Leanne, hi everybody.
Hi.
Look, first of all, thank you for inviting me onto here. I've been really inspired by ladies who are so far into their careers, which has given me loads of ideas. So yeah, so thank you very much. So yeah, I actually came from a background in financial planning and education, which is still something I'm very interested in. However, I think I got to the point where I wanted to just learn something for me. And that is when my interest in coding kind of came in, because it was something that I could learn for myself. And I kind of started with HTML and got very excited when I used to see my very basic web pages come to life. And then when the opportunity came up to join the bootcamp, I jumped on it. I just thought, you know what, I didn't actually say to myself, I'm going to get an apprenticeship at the end of it, but I thought this could be a career change. So, joined the bootcamp, and it was very challenging, because I literally, apart from HTML, knew nothing else about coding. I didn't even know that HTML wasn't a language. That's how new I was to the industry. So the 12 weeks were, like I say, very challenging, but at the same time, I loved it. I found myself working till midnight sometimes, just trying to get things right. My daughter always laughs and says, every time I get something right, I cheer. So yeah, so it's been a really great learning opportunity, and now that I started the bootcamp in October, and today I'm in an apprenticeship. It's been really exciting.
And how's your apprenticeship going?
It's
what
going
kind
fantastic.
of things are you learning on the apprenticeship?
So I'm working for a company called Lumen Research, which are a attention technology specialist. So what they specialize in is conducting market research so that their clients can have a better understanding on how their advertising has been perceived by the public, basically. So the type of activities that I'm involved in at the moment, it's kind of split into two. So we've got the activities that help with the market research. So I'll be assisting with putting together web pages that could be used for the studies, and also helping with like documentation, things like that. And then the second part of it is project work. So which is also, as well as the projects are for the betterment of the company, but it's also linked into the apprenticeship as well. So yeah, so at the moment I'm working on a Node.js project, which is also linked to AWS as well. So it's just so much. I'm just really enjoying it.
Amazing. That's great. Yeah. Thank you for that. No problem. And we're now going to speak to Brittany, who is also at Capgemini, and she's a test analyst who has got into a role through an apprenticeship program. Again, Brittany, firstly, thank you for joining us. And could you give us a background of your journey and how you got to where you are?
Of course. So I started my apprenticeship fresh out of sixth form. I'd just done my A-levels and I'd applied to university and was kind of planning on going, but sort of wasn't 100% sold. I didn't feel quite done with learning new things, but I also didn't really want to carry on in that really intensive sort of school-like environment. I felt quite sort of ready to move into the world of work. So I started looking at degree apprenticeships and applied for a couple, and one of them was Capgemini. And I was successful in my application, and then I joined sort of a few months after finishing my A-levels, so quite fast. And having only worked in retail before that, it was quite a jump. Yeah, definitely. And then coming into that, we started off with 2 months at university because it's a degree apprenticeship, which was sort of like almost like a boot camp, really, to sort of nail in some of the key skills. So we'd covered things like Java, Python, SQL, and that was living in Aston University with the rest of the apprentices that joined at the same time as me. So it's almost like a taste of that university experience without having to sort of commit to a full 3 years of it.
Yeah.
And then straight away after that, I moved out into a role in retail doing testing for a retail client. And from there, I've been on 5 different projects so far in my 3.5 years, 4 of which were testing and across a range of sectors. So I've done retail, energy and public sector. And now I'm in a slightly different role as a DevOps engineer, which is a lot more technical than being a test analyst. I definitely fell into this role by accident, but I am enjoying it and learning lots of new things. And that is also a public sector role. So it's been really interesting. And I think sort of as Erica was saying as well about having different opportunities within a company, I think especially being early in your career, that's something that's very key to sort of utilize and try new things, because especially in a larger organization, there is plenty of opportunities to try different roles and new things.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So we've just had one of the questions, which actually I will put to you because of your background as well, Brittany, is we've been asked that one of the ladies support female students, 11 to 13s. What sort of tips would you give to somebody sort of just finishing school or A levels of how to get into tech?
What I would say is definitely research sort of your options on how you can get into it. So obviously there is the degree route, but I think having a good idea of what apprenticeships are available is really key, and also the kind of companies that they are with, because obviously there are some companies that have huge junior talent communities and are very keen on supporting young people into these roles. So I think having a good understanding of what companies can help you do that is key. But I would also say in terms of actually once you've decided what you want to do, sort of getting ready for the interviews and whatnot, I'd say that having sort of work experience, especially sort of at that age, is really key. It is something that I noticed sort of in my cohort of apprentices, because as we joined, there was about almost 30 of us that joined, and all of us had had jobs beforehand, although we were all 18.
Whether that be retail or hospitality or some form of,
absolutely, because I think what you fail to realize at that sort of age is just how transferable skills are. And as soon as you realize that those skills that you're having, even if you are working in retail and you're sort of having those customer interactions, they can be directly carried across into the workplace. And it's the kind of thing that, absolutely, they're so important. And when you're coming from a perspective where you're not expected to have all of the technical knowledge, it's those kind of transferable skills that are going to make you stand out.
And we talked about that at the beginning about the the technical versus the soft skills, and I think all the ladies agree that you don't need as many technical skills as people think. It is more about your soft skills. That's amazing. Thank you for answering that. So we are just about at the end of this session. There's some questions coming through, so those that we haven't been able to answer, we will get answered and then send them out to the attendees as well as the recording. We also have put in the chat a link for a survey for feedback on the programme. We do want to be doing more of these webinars. We do want to be raising profile more for women in tech. And the way we can do that is by having your feedback of what improvements we can make. But just before that, we do have a poll. So I am going to ask you to be interactive now. So we'll be popping up on your screen shortly. And the poll for today is, do you feel more informed on how to start a career in software development after this webinar? Oh. And luckily, it was 100%. It'd have been embarrassing if they said no, but it wouldn't have been, because what we would have asked then is what more do you want to know? And again, if we can get any of the network you ladies are in for the women in tech or tech itself, whatever that may be, and we can get them networks out. So, and again, Brittany, you just said it about networking and finding out that's how I think, women going into the industry will find out more about what's right for them. So if we could have them links, we'll make sure they go out too. And then, yes, thank you everyone for your time today. To all my speakers, thank you so much. It's been so inspirational listening to you all. And thank you for supporting the event.